It may, okay, the April 13th meeting of the Greenwich Township Land Use Board is called to order. Amy,
This is the regular meeting of the Land Use Board of the Township of Greenwich. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, in that a notice was published in the Express Times and Star Ledger newspapers. The notice was posted on the municipal bulletin board in the Township Administration Building in Greenwich Township, New Jersey, and notice was filed with the Township Clerk.
roll call.
Mr. Bruce Williams.
Here.
Mark Scuderi.
Here.
Paul Beam.
Here.
Joseph Chicallo.
Here.
Brian Baylor advised that he was going to be a little bit late joining us on Zoom tonight. Ms. Kathy Cullen asked to be excused tonight. Mr. Gary Hill asked to be excused tonight. Mr. Joseph Fiamma.
Here.
Mr. Jeremy Blunt asked to be excused tonight. Ms. Andrea Sherlaw asked to be excused tonight. Mr. Rocky Stein. Mr. George Bradlaugh.
Here.
Ms. Dana Parker.
Okay, so you're saying Dana Parker and Rocky Stein aren't there, but they didn't ask to be excused?
Correct.
Okay.
So I need a motion to excuse Gary
Kathy Cullen,
Kathy Cullen,
Gary Hill,
Hill,
Jeremy Blunt, Andrea Sherlaw.
and Andrew Sherlaw. Motion?
Second,
Mr. Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Mr. Paul Beam.
yes.
Mr. Joseph Chicallo.
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Fiamma.
Yes.
And Mr. George Bradlaugh.
Yes.
Okay, minutes for March 9th. I have one correction that, last month, we voted to excuse, Ms. Cullen and Mr. Bradlaugh, but we did not include Ms. Parker, because she didn't give us an excuse.
I will revise that.
Any other comments or corrections? I need a motion to adopt the minutes as amended. Motion.
Second.
And Amy, do me a favor, do it by roll call so we can see everyone who's eligible. We see the yeses. I know there are going to be no nos, but maybe we'll get some abstentions.
I'm sorry, what was that? Do the roll call?
Yeah, can you do a roll call to adopt?
Mr. Bruce Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Mark Scuderi.
Yes.
Mr. Paul Beam.
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Chicallo.
Yes.
Mr. Brian Baylor.
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
he's not here.
Mr. Joseph Fiamma.
Yes.
Mr. Gary Hill and Mr. Jeremy Blunt were at the meeting, but they're not here tonight. As well as Andrea and Rocky.
So I count 6 people that are present at the meeting. So who's abstaining?
Well,
I wasn't here last month's meeting. I was excused, so I assume I can't vote to accept the minutes.
Yes.
Right, so there's our abstention. Okay.
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 Okay, so. No correspondence, so resolutions, we have the extension, the Greenwich Dumont Urban Renewal Associates, this was the extension that we granted several months ago, but have not memorialized.
Right. And by the way, the plans have been signed in accordance with this extension.
Before I go to that, let's all rise to the flag salute.
Oh, good point.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks. Okay. Dumont, any comments on that, John, or any
Nope.
questions?
Nope.
Then I need a motion to adopt,
Okay.
resolution 2202.
Good question. So,
Yeah.
so everything has been signed and they don't need further extension.
That's correct.
That's correct.
That's why I was holding off in case they needed another extension. I didn't want to do 2 resolutions. I roll them both into one, but we didn't need it.
Thank you.
Okay, so then,
Almost.
motion, Joe, in a second? Second. Okay.
Mark did not vote on the resolution.
Oh, you did.
I did not.
You did not.
Second.
Okay,
Joe and Joe. Mr. Bruce Williams,
yes,
Mr. Paul Beam,
Yes.
Mr. Joseph Chicallo,
Yes.
Mr. Brian Baylor.
He's
What?
absent right now.
It's because they didn't cross them off yet. Mr.
Hill
Joseph,
is
Yeah.
absent.
what?
Fiam is, yep, okay.
He's here.
Yep.
Mr. Gary Hill, Mr. Jeremy Blunt, Miss Andrea Sherla are absent.
Okay, it's adopted.
okay, next resolution, 2023-01, Anthony K. Bulos that we did last month. To say that, there is a question on their escrow balance. Okay, so what we've decided is that we'll go ahead and vote on this, but, instruct, assuming we pass it, well, we will, but assuming, then ask Amy not to sign it, so we're not finalized until the escrow is up to date.
Right, and not to sign it and not to publish notice of its adoption in the newspaper until you confirm the escrow's up to date.
Okay,
And
So-
Bruce, this is, even though it's version 3, Amy, the applicant's attorney picked up, well, one typo on page 5. He thought there was another typo, but in reviewing that, there wasn't another typo that he noted, but we found a typo on page 5. So there are two minor things on page 5, one in paragraph 5, one in paragraph 6, and unless the board wants me to repeat them, I'm not going to. Amy and I already made the change, and I would ask that someone make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-01, version 3 with the two typo corrections on page 5.
Okay, so be it.
Joe Fiami? I'll second it.
And Bruce. Bruce Williams,
Yes,
Paul Beam,
Yes.
Joseph Chicallo,
Yes.
Kathy Cullen is absent, Mr. Joseph Fiamma,
Yes.
Jeremy Blunt, Andrea Sherlaw, and Rocky Steiner absent, Mr. George Bradlaugh.
Can I vote on this one?
Yes, you
Yep.
voted
Yes.
on
Vote yes.
it. Okay.
it's your big day.
I know, I'm sorry. Yeah, here I am, and I missed everything last month.
Okay, so, the more energy, John has just finished that and didn't send it out to us, right? So,
Correct, and I talked to the applicant's attorney, she's fine to have it adopted in May. I'm gonna send it out tomorrow. I didn't want to send it out tonight and then have people say, what the hell are you doing? You're giving us a resolution on the night. So I'm gonna send it out tomorrow. Hopefully, I won't be sending it out too far in advance of May, so everyone forgets about it, but maybe we'll ask Amy to send it out again 2 weeks before the meeting in May.
okay, and next month we'll also have, what do we call them? Capital review and subdivision for the.
Yeah, it's gonna be, it's not, yeah, it's two things. It's a minor subdivision and a capital review. We thought it was just gonna be a capital review, but they need subdivision approval.
And this is for some land that the township is purchasing over by Stecker Field to add for parking and all, so.
Right, so Bruce, I think you just need to call up, Kendra knows about it, just call up Mike Finelli, who knows about it, but impress upon him that let's make sure that we get a, even though it's gonna be a small report, the report out before that month, so it can get done next month.
Right.
And you want me to write the letter to the committee or to Lisa saying that they need to go for the lot line adjustment?
Yeah, it's a capital review, but they also need minor subdivision approval.
So what does the committee have to do since Paul's here? Do they have to take some action?
Yeah, they gotta file an application. You get the township attorney or Lisa to put together an application for subdivision approval, file it with the board. And then what we'll do is, Finelli can't so there's an exception to the local government ethics law. A professional can represent the township and appear before a board, but he or she can't be on both sides of it. So we're gonna take Kendra and put her on the board side of it, and we're gonna have Finelli be on the township side of it. He'll present the minor subdivision, and so his report, Bruce, when you call him, his report, he is the township's engineer for this application. He's not the board's engineer. And Kendra will review it as the board's planner. That way, We don't have to hire another expert. We don't need any conflict person, yada, yada, yada. I've done this a couple times with other municipalities where they've needed a minor subdivision to do something like this. And if Mike has any questions, just tell him to call me, Bruce, okay?
Okay, and Amy, you're clear on then what you've got to
Yes,
request to them? Okay.
yes, sir.
And Amy, you can explain to Lisa that Mike is gonna be their engineer on this. We're going without an engineer. Kendra's gonna be our planner on this.
Do you want that in the letter to Lisa?
No, just tell her that over the phone so she doesn't get nervous.
Okay, and I don't think, we don't have any escrow updates right now. So, and any additional affordable housing updates that we could talk about?
Yeah, what we could talk about is I spoke with Jeff Long from Ingerman, and they'll be appearing before the HMFA, the Housing Mortgage Finance Agency of the state of New Jersey, at their May meeting to get their hardship funding and some additional funding because of COVID and because of the delay and the interest rates and all that. And he anticipates then doing a closing in June and breaking ground in June. That's what he told me over the phone today.
Okay,
Because they haven't had any conversations with me, I guess. Brian has communicated with Jeff a couple of times. And they've wanted us to reach out to the county to get some of the $81 million of COVID money that the county got, but at this stage of the game, TC has chose not to do that.
Okay, has someone told that to Jeff? I doubt it because I was on the phone with him 2 hours ago and he didn't say anything. So it would be nice if the TC gets back to Jeff and tells him that.
Sure, we can let Brian know. I mean, that was the little bit of information that I've gotten. It's been talked about 2 months in a row. But nobody has chosen to reach out to the county on the subject matter.
Okay, Ingerman can still ask the county for that money, but I think they wanted the township to, put a good word in for them. But if the township's not willing to do that, just someone should, out of common courtesy, should tell Jeff.
Okay.
okay,
Okey-dokey.
I think that's it, unless anybody's got
I just
anything
have
else.
one question. So Brian Baylor hasn't logged on. Are we excusing him tonight?
No, he hasn't.
It's an unexcused absence, right? He didn't request an excuse. He wanted to participate via Zoom.
He said he would be late though.
Well, he's late.
I mean, it's 7:43. I assume someone's gonna make a motion to adjourn.
Hope so.
Yeah. All right, can I have that motion to adjourn then?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none, abstained, okay.
Amy, could you just email Brian Baylor and tell him the meeting is adjourned at 7:45? Because if he tries to go on, he'll wonder what the hell happened.
I will definitely do that.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right,
Good night.
everybody. Bye-bye. See you next month.
Bye.